It's Pride Month and we step into Madrid Pride, celebrating not just with parties and parades, but also with stilettos at full speed. Every summer, one of the city's busiest streets transforms into a 100-meter racetrack for heels at least 15 centimeters high. Picture drag queens, dazzling costumes and a dash of chaos as racers wobble and sprint, cheered on by thousands. It's colourful, it's hilarious, and it's all about celebrating individuality. Welcome to Kaleidoscope with Savithri, Rodrigo, and Happy Pride. From the Kaleidoscope studios, Udesh Fernando, Songs of Absence, and the past week's quick news look in News in a Blink. Not every loud work is a good work, said the critique, but this one is. Last week, the Goethe Institute staged Songs of Absence, a performance that asked what disappears, what is silenced, and what remains unseen. Conceived by German choreographer Anna Kojecki with music by Sergei Maingat and co-created with Sri Lankan and international dancers, it unfolded like a living album, polyphonic, feminist, raw. 7 performers moved through rap, poetry, slogans and ecstatic speech, turning absence into presence and silence into song. It was more than dance, it was a collaboration across continents, a shared archive of the forgotten made visible on stage. And Kaleidoscope was right there to experience it. On YouTube, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn, Kaleidoscope delivers stories that matter every week. Follow, subscribe and stay connected. Week after week, Kaleidoscope runs on the strength of SriLanka Live, CDB and The Daily Morning. Thank you.
Cool appetizer. Introducing CDB Self, the digital wallet that makes life easy.
Here's last week's stories that made the headlines only on CDB News in a Blink. We start with good news. Reducing the dependency on fossil fuel imports, more than 50% of Sri Lanka's power generation is now from the 3 renewable segments of hydro, solar and wind. Sri Lanka's exports surged beyond $7.3 billion in the first 5 months of 2026. Sampath Bank and the Sri Lanka Ports Authority launched Sri Lanka's first real-time US dollar payment solution for the maritime industry. Sri Lanka's National Anti-Human Trafficking Task Force outlines a 5-year strategy to combat human trafficking. The market moves, our weekly look at our markets. At the Colombo Stock Exchange, both indices remained flat, with low turnover levels and foreign selling continuing to depress the market. WTI is currently at $73 per barrel, up from the recent $70 after the US launched strikes against Iran following fresh attacks on commercial vehicles in the Strait of Hormuz. Gold prices are near $4,100 per ounce and facing pressure from a stronger US dollar and rising oil prices stemming from escalating Middle East tensions. Copenhagen is the world's most livable city for 2026. 2 Indians are arrested after bringing 45,000 bananas into Nepal without paying customs duty.
You focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. SriLanka Life.
He's the man who turned monochrome into a movement. Founder of ParadiseRoad, curator of Tintagel, and author of Living Design, Udesh Fernando has shaped Colombo's cultural landscape with a black and white aesthetic that is anything but simple. A recluse by nature, yet a visionary whose spaces speak louder than words. Today on Kaleidoscope SriLanka Live Dialogues, we step into the mind of the man who lives design. Living design.
Right.
How do you personally define living design?
We use living design because that is the title of the book. But if you read the title properly, it says Udayshanth and living design. So it is actually a statement and a proclamation of my taste. If you look in the book, you would find that every little detail and the style that I have developed and my taste is what is reflective in every page of that book. So it's almost like a diary of my life.
When you founded ParadiseRoad way back in 1987, what was the single most radical idea you wanted to introduce to Sri Lanka?
See, when I came to Sri Lanka, I came back after 16 years of overseas exposure. I lived in the Netherlands for 3 years. I lived 3 years in Costa Rica, New Zealand, and then I moved to Australia, where I blossomed. Because Australia has a lifestyle which suits me, and it was very relative, their lifestyle, to what we have in Sri Lanka. But there was a sophistication because while I was there, the style in Australia was developing, and I was a part of it. I've always been an art collector. You know, I've bought my first painting in 1970 from house, Baba Sanzori's house. And that was an artist in Lanka called Blue Phil. And I proudly took it with me, and I believe in only owning originals and no more copies. So when I came from Australia, I came back with 2 original Donald friends. Why Donald friend? Because he was influenced in Sri Lanka, and he had a link to Sri Lanka because he was recognized by the Bauers. And the work of Jeffrey Bauer always fascinated me, and I loved it. And I had the fortune of living in a Jeffrey Bauer house when I first came back here.
So your signature monochrome style is iconic. What draws you to black and white?
You see, when I came to Sri Lanka, when I looked at the style that we had, I found that there was an opportunity to bring that style which was sophisticated. I mean, we had created a style, very sort of, everything was coordinated, color coordinated. And I believed in having a natural canvas into which you bring color. So when you go monochrome, you can bring paintings in. You don't have to color coordinate. And that is my style.
So your home has been described as the finest art gallery you've ever seen.
That is an opportunity in my life because really, I became a gallerist 28 years ago. And from the moment I came to Sri Lanka, I started developing a taste for Sri Lankan art and developing artists with it. And that was my mission. You know, to find artists and give them an opportunity. And I've done that successfully, and that gives me the greatest delight. It's the most important thing in my life, to see other people succeed. Because I lived, just said. So I've always been honest, and it's not all about money. It's about giving people opportunity. Because as a Christian, I'm not ashamed to tell you, we're told the giver shall receive. So we have to share and care. So there are so many downtrodden people in this country with talent to be given opportunity.
What do you hope your legacy will be?
I'm not worried about my legacy because I've got 2 very able children who shall follow in my footsteps without me asking for it. I can see it, and I have great joy. I don't know how many people have that privilege in life to see their own children blossoming on their own. We don't work together You understand? We don't work together, but I know what they're doing. And what they're doing gels with what I've always done.
So, this week's Kaleidoscope ends here. Next week, more stories await. Goodbye until then.